Nice to see everyone. Check, check. Seems to be working. So today I will be talking about how we experience and our view on how to build yield scaling stablecoin architecture. Probably not really needed for introduction as it already happened, but yeah, I'm a co-founder and CTO at Resolv Labs. Spent some time building TradFi products and some of the crypto one. And let's talk a bit more about the context of delta neutral stablecoins, but most of the presentation will be relevant for many other types of architecture. So as you can see, and hopefully you know that crypto can be sourced for attractive returns. And one of the metrics, for example, we took is 20 billion, here is mistake, not trillion, I believe, of liquidity remains untapped on market. We basically took open futures interest around three most popular tokens, crypto assets like BTC, ETH, and Solana. And that's a rough indication of what might happen. But it's worth to talk about associated risk, which relevant in different forms for different architectures of stablecoins. A good example might be USDC. Probably some of you remember a DPEC event happened over 2 years ago related to problems with Silicon Valley Bank. Hopefully, not hopefully, the situation was resolved, but it's like just one of the examples what might be happening and how of such losses might occur. Regardless of if you are building fiat-baked or real-world assets, stablecoins, the risk still be there. It might be pretty different, but still, you can have risks associated with centralized exchanges. If you're using, for example, a perpetuals market like we are using, you might affected by general liquidity for decentralized exchanges and the related like risk associated with one strategy operator. So how we might potentially solve both potentially limited markets and different kinds of risks starting from limited markets, essentially. So it can be different. As I told you before, it can be coming from liquid staking protocols, restaking protocols, like just lending markets, or many other sources. And such sources might be created by external providers, different projects, third-party projects. It can be even created by security risk curators. And we trying to solve also the fragmentation market as the sources are baking a single stablecoin diving the liquidity flywheel essentially. And we definitely will see a lot of projects, and we already see a lot of projects in stablecoin space. And their sources coming from, for example, delta neutral strategies. I don't know, maybe some AI agents. I'm just generating random ideas, high frequency strategies, and many other. And if to not diving into scalability, issues of specific solution are still there, and the risks also there. Then combining it, especially for stablecoin, it's pretty dangerous because the more yield sources you're adding, the more like this higher chance something happens sooner rather than later. And we came up to the idea of making I, another one tranche for absorbing the risk essentially. As I told in TradFi world, it's known as tranching. So we are getting the and tokenizing the risk related part of the common collateral. And it's pretty good opportunity because it can be tokenized and it can be driven by markets. That's one of the difference from many other projects where usually you have different insurance funds, usually driven by, for example, competing treasuries. It might be necessary to raise external funds. You might pay some interest, etc., etc. So, and I will essentially explain it on the on the example of our tokens. On the top, you can see our stablecoin. On the bottom, yellow one, it is exactly that token. So that yellow one, the junior tranche, is gets a share of yields generated by the total protocol, and given that the share is meaningfully less than the whole TVL, they're getting like a pretty good upside. As a result, those two projects might be interested for different types of users with different risks appetite, let's say. More TradFi people, or for junior tranche token, more let's say risk hungry people like DeFi native people, maybe some DeFi yield, I don't know, farmers. So you might have a question at the beginning of the presentation. There are many stablecoins. What's the point? And hopefully, partially, I covered the topic. Such modular architecture might help to breed the such yield from different sources into the stablecoin yield race. And from theory to practice, it's not just some, I don't know, theory kept somewhere on the background. We already implemented it. The strategy already ran for over a year. Most of you have seen like already a lot of ups and downs on the market, and it's performing pretty well. We live on a few chains already, serving over 50,000 users officially registered in our programs. I believe it's way more on practice. Over 10 millions of yield distributed to the users, like TVL right now a bit below 400 millions with 600 millions all-time high, and like almost 2 billion mints and redemptions distributed. So the last slide. If to think a bit more about how such architecture might be serving the whole ecosystem and how it might be in general like aggregating additional yields and opportunity, one of examples here. As I mentioned, some of yield sourcing might be staking tokens, liquid staking tokens, for example. Such projects usually redistributing their assets to node providers, to validators, institutional validators, and as in this example. And we can use them to leverage distribution network to get new users, to get new assets to such liquidity products and institutional validators essentially. So in such way, that architecture becoming a way more important part of the whole ecosystem. Basically, that's it. Sorry, I had to rush a bit. If you would like to get more details, updates, there is QR code for our official Twitter, or just find me after the presentation, or just official email. Thanks a lot.